So, Mark, I want to start with where we were a year ago when we talked about the business workshop, and we were at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was disrupting everything then in profound ways. We're still a little disrupted. You're going to be virtual again this year, but business-wise, I feel like things are starting to clear up just a little. Maybe some normalcy returning to people's activities. Give us a sense of where we are in that process.
Yeah, a year ago, we were in the abyss. We were in the depths of despair, so to speak. Businesses were shutting left and right. We know that 41% of African-American businesses shut down, partially or permanently within the first 3 months of the pandemic versus 17% of small businesses. Fast forward to today, we're seeing a slow improvement. We're beginning to work our way out of that abyss. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. But clearly we're seeing that the state is beginning to reopen a little bit, the city is beginning to reopen a little bit, and we're finding that some businesses are beginning to reopen, although challenges still remain.
So let's talk about the workshop, the virtual nature of the workshop. How'd that go last year, for starters, and what are you anticipating for this year?
I got to tell you, first of all, I want to thank you American Black Journal. You've been a wonderful supporter of the workshop for the last several years. And last year, as a result, we reached over 500 engagements, 500 people through technology. So it went very well. And what's interesting is when we do face-to-face, we get upwards of 120, but through technology, you can reach more people. And so the workshop went very well. So this year, we're going to continue the virtual series until everyone's totally comfortable getting back face-to-face. And I'm so pleased to announce that this year's theme is the re-emerging from the abyss. And from our friends at Fifth Third Bank, we're able to offer this workshop for free as well.
Yeah. Jason, talk about what you guys are seeing from a banking perspective in terms of emergence from the pandemic and going back to quote unquote business as usual, and then your engagement with the small business workshop.
Yeah, so thanks, Stephen. Thanks again for having me on. Yeah, well, so what we're seeing is, this time last year, we were knee deep in figuring out the payroll protection program and getting that set up. We actually had to build a system around that because it was a different SBA program than, the ones that we already had on board. And, we were able to process more than 40,000 loans through that system last year, right? And then so as we're coming out of kind of the pandemic and re-emerging from the abyss, the demand, while the program remains open for till the end of May, the demand has gone down dramatically, right? So to date this year, we've only processed about 15,000 of those loan applications. So certainly, I see that as an optimistic sign that we are indeed reemerging from the abyss. And, we partner with Mark on the Small Business Workshop, really because of his ability to really curate a series and a stream of professionals that's really going to provide businesses with the information and the tips that they need, for now and into the future.
Yeah. That's a really interesting fact you just slipped in there. The idea that fewer businesses are now seeking help because of the pandemic. That is incredibly good news. Jason, I wonder though if you have ideas about what the new administration in Washington should be doing to try to help businesses get back up on their feet. I mean, just because they're not in search of those loans anymore doesn't mean everything is the way it should be. What would you want to see them doing to help businesses get going again?
That's a really good question, Stephen. What I'd like to see is, continued support for how companies can improve their revenue streams, right? Really connecting businesses with the opportunities for, let's call it, federal contracting as an example, and providing them with the tools and resources, much like we're going to do in this workshop, to be able to actually compete for those federal contracts. that are coming out. The latest that we've heard in some of what the administration is doing is really around infrastructure improvement, right? And so, as you can imagine, there's going to be a number of contracts that are awarded to make that happen. Now, I may be a little bit preliminary because it hasn't been approved yet, right? But I would hope that that people are, tuning in to a workshop like this to really connect with the professionals in the industry, in the ecosystem for small businesses that can really help them to be ready, right? I always say if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And one of the things that I think that this workshop will do is help people to get ready now so that they can be ready when the time comes.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, Mark, this is what you'll be talking about in these workshops is being ready. And being ready now means something different, looks different, I suspect, than it did a year ago.
Yeah, last year at this time, people were just grappling to figure out what was going on. This year, economists are projecting, Stephen, that we're expecting a partial recovery beginning the back half of this year of 2021 and a full recovery in 2022, assuming obviously the vaccination rollout and some other assumptions. So that's why we structured the workshop the way it is. We're going to have a Fifth 30 chief economists coming on board and talking about the impact of the economy on Detroit, the overall economy of Detroit and the state of Michigan. From a business standpoint, the focal point of this workshop is exactly what Jason said, what you just referenced. Is your business ready? Are you ready to hopefully capitalize and leverage on this stronger economic projection that we're expecting for the balance of the year? So we have speakers and panelists and other entrepreneurs who will be sharing their experiences throughout the 4-week series. We're doing a weekly series beginning this Wednesday and through the month of May, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
Mark, you mentioned earlier the number of Black businesses we lost in the pandemic, which is just, it's staggering when you really sit and think about it. When we talk about recovery, what's the possibility to recover some of those businesses, to get people who maybe had to give up to be able to start again? Is that something that we should be anticipating?
Yeah, I think so. But here's the difference, Stephen, is businesses need to recover through adjustment. If they're going to adjust under the old business model, they're not going to come back. I'll just be matter of fact about it. If they're going to adjust, leveraging the new technologies, leveraging and using creativity, becoming that much more innovative, the prospect of them reopening, repositioning themselves to an ever-changing market, then they have the prospect of coming back. But it's going to require change and adjustment in order to reopen, reposition your business for the long term.
Yeah. Well, and that change and adjustment, of course, affects everybody. I mean, the way that everything works, the way that everything looks, is just really different than it was before the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Mark Lee, always great to have you here to talk about your small business workshop, and good luck with the second year of virtual. Next year, it'll be in person, right?
Well, we'll see. And by the way, it's our 7th year. And I want to say, go to leagroupinnovation.com to register, and it's free.